Now, to draw in your perpendicular bisectors, remember, take your ruler, use one of the inch marks. I'm going to use the inch mark on this 11 inches to line up with one of the sides of my triangle. So my 11-inch mark is perfectly in line with this side. Slide that over next to your point. Draw in your perpendicular bisector. Don't worry, it doesn't have to come exactly to point C, and it won't if you've drawn it correctly. Fill in your other two with me. Okay, so you should have your three perpendicular bisectors drawn in, and if you've drawn it correctly, they should all meet in a nice spot, or at least close to a nice spot, somewhere inside your triangle. Can anybody remember what that point is called? The point where all three perpendicular bisectors intersect is what we call the circumcenter. Go ahead and label that point as point D. Now what we need to do is investigate this triangle just a little further. If you remember, one of the properties of the perpendicular bisectors and the circumcenter was that the distance from each vertex to the circumcenter was the same. So what I want you guys to do now, draw a segment from A to D, from B to D, and from C to D. If you have colored pencils, this would be a great time to use them. If not, you can always try making a dotted line or making your line really, really dark so that you can distinguish it from your perpendicular bisectors. So take a moment and fill those in with me. our music died. If you notice, I'm using a blue Sharpie to fill in these segments. Not sure how good it'll show up, but hopefully it's better than my dark pen. Okay, so on your graph paper, you should have a triangle, 3 perpendicular bisectors, and 3 segments. Your next task is to measure the length of each of these blue segments. From what we know about perpendicular bisectors and triangles, we should notice that all 3 of these are congruent. So what you should do, let's write these in. The length of segment AB equals the length of segment, oh shucks, the length of segment AD, sorry about that, AD, the length of segment BD, and the length of segment CD. I want you guys to measure those now and see if they aren't very, very close, if not equal. Okay, so if you notice, when I measured mine, they all come out to be roughly 7 centimeters. One was just a hair short. It could have been that one of my perpendicular bisectors was off just the tiniest bit, but they should all be fairly close. So what I want you guys to realize is that at this point, the circumcenter, the length of these 3 segments are equal, or what we say congruent. So let's go ahead and give those congruent marks. And again, what we've just shown is something that we should have already known, but just in case we forgot, this is a good way to refresh our memory. Put this in your notes, keep it with the rest of your papers.